Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream.
What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing?
Hiya, boys and girls. So today we've got Narek from Growyourego coming to ask some questions about BOM.
Hey.
And basically, to start with, do you want to quickly go over what your sort of protocol is all about, just so everybody knows?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you guys having us on here. We've been looking over you guys for a couple days as well. Well, here at Ego, we're more of a IaaS. It's kind of like a name that we're inventing and going along with. It's more of an investing as a service. And we essentially, our entire goal is to help people get financially free. And that's through various just diversifying your portfolio and passive income opportunities. And I think it goes to show just in this kind of bearish market, the passive income is kind of the way to go. If let's say you're holding $10,000 worth of Bitcoin or whatever, and the market drops 20, 30%, your portfolio drops that much with it. With passive income, let's say you're making, $2,000-$3,000 a month in passive income and the portfolio drops 20, 30, 40%. You're still making money every month, and I think that's where we want the direction to go for, people that are new in crypto investing, and that are looking to make some kind of money, like as a hustle, rather than waiting for that one moonshot to, the stratosphere or to the moon. So here at Ego, we kind of show people how to invest by providing the model for them. So essentially, we find and we vet projects. We have like a research team, and we go through passive income opportunities. And when we're ready as a project or as a company to invest, we sort of throw it out there. We invested $5,000 into this protocol. This is what our projected returns are. In a week or in a month, we'll see where our investment lies, and you guys can use that as a model to say, hey, I like that where that investment went, or that investment kind of didn't work out the right way, so I'll stay away from that. So instead of providing financial advice, we just provide a model of what we're doing, and people can follow that if they like.
Yeah,
I like that.
So that's our primary goal at Ego. Yep.
Sounds amazing. And so,
Thank you, brother.
Well, definitely agree about the passive income, though. It's to be accumulating. It doesn't really matter what the market conditions are, right? Like as long as you're accumulating, you're in better shape for when things pick up, right?
Exactly. Yep, man. If like right now, and I know people are like, yeah, buy the dip. This is the best time to buy it. Whenever the market is the lowest, but people find themselves having overvested in the last couple months, and now when the dip is actually here and where you really need to buy it, you don't have income, or your capital is low, your fiat is low. At least with passive income, every month you have a little bit to invest, or you have a little extra on the side to divide up and use it in any way you like.
Yep, definitely. After doing some, I've only been in crypto a little over a year now, but after doing a lot of research, it seems that it also makes sense to have a certain allocation of your portfolio, like in stables, to be able to take advantage of these dips, even if it's not from like external income, right? To be able to just convert some stables.
Absolutely, man. You gotta build the passive income, stack the blue chips with the passive income earnings, and always have something ready in stablecoin to buy dips with, right? So if let's say your portfolio, like 100% of your portfolio, 10 or 15% of that should be going into stables, just so that you have money saved for these situations right here. Yeah. The rest is wherever your passive income, your blue chips, your degen plays. Whenever you have passive income, you have a portfolio built to allocate for all these different causes to kind of feed your entire crypto maniac inside.
Yeah. And this is an area where I don't really excel because I like risk on, so stable coin.
Yeah. Definitely. The adrenaline you get from the risky launches and the straight degen plays, it pays off sometimes, but then most of the time you're just like, God damn it.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's why this is like a little bit different, just because it's my project, so it's something where I can kind of guide it towards success, and I know the extra hours that I put in to make things work, and I guess that's why I don't really look at BOM as a degen play, just because of I guess everything I know about it, right? But I guess like for an outsider that maybe doesn't know me personally, until they hear more from us and get to know the team better, you know, it definitely is a DeFi slightly risky play, I guess, until you know the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, as long as here's what I always recommend for people. If you're looking to invest into a project, essentially you're looking to invest into the dev team. That's who's going to be driving the force and the mission of the project. So if you like what the project says, but you don't really trust into the dev team, you know, that's a risk, right? That's a really big gamble right there. You know, if you don't think that team is up for the challenge, because it's not easy. You know, before I made a cryptocurrency, I thought it was, why are they slacking this and that? But then you kind of see of all the hurdles that you have to kind of go through and the waiting processes and a lot of things that you're just like, oh, okay, I kind of understand why, you know, it's taking forever or whatnot. It's just not in our control. So unless you're in the space, you kind of think they're lazy or, you know, whatever it is. So staying engaged, being transparent with the community, that's going to be the number one right there.
Well, yeah, just to reiterate that, like I've had countless people in the community, you know, comment that, you know, the reason that they've been with Bomb since, you know, since they found us really, and they're sticking around is because of the transparency that we have. And, you know, that's one of the things that we really believe in is, you know, transparency, and always, you know, we want the community to help us guide us towards decisions. In fact, we're doing governance votes for anything major now, right? And just letting our holders really decide, you know, the fate of the protocol. But yeah, no,
that's awesome, man. People want that, right? People want to be involved as much as they can with community decisions, up to a point where, you know, it's not like the community has to kind of understand that they know a certain level as well. However, you know, the ultimate decision does need to lie within the dev team, but having that communication open is definitely key to growing out of your scope, right? Because we all have this kind of scope that we're in. In order to grow out of that, we have to be able to listen to people and be able to grow from it. We're not perfect.
Exactly.
You know?
So kind of like the way that we've been handling that is we'll form the proposals based on what we really feel is best. So we won't like ask the community for like the parameters within a proposal, if that makes sense. Right. So like we'll decide what we think is the right parameters, and we'll just kind of propose it as do you guys want to go ahead with this, or should we kind of keep things
right? So oftentimes I see projects fail where it's not necessarily a failure, but it starts to build on the failure whenever you're relying on the community for your answers rather than providing a couple answers and letting them choose between those. You know, at least when you provide the options, you know the parameters that you can work within them. Whereas when you give complete control, it's probably not going to lead into people are going to think about their wallets first, always.
Of course.
You know, so you got to make tough decisions sometimes, and sometimes you just have to come with the answer prepared. You know, so it's definitely one of those things that you learn as you get into it.
Yeah, and you know, like another thing too is that like you don't want to give too much option, for one, because like we're obviously the experts on the protocol, so we have a good idea of what parameters make sense when it comes to votes. Then I've always struggled with okay, well, what if there's, you know, a yes or no, but then if it's yes and there's multiple options, well, how do you even form a vote around that? You almost have to have two separate votes, because you can't split up the initial vote into no and then have 4 different yes answers, because that's gonna, you know, it's gonna skew things, right? Like now we don't know if like this, you know, it just messes up the vote. Basically.
Well, that's where the communication comes in, right? Having the Telegram open, having the Discord, having these AMAs where people can come in and ask these questions and clear the air. You know, oftentimes it's the answer is just too long, right? It's just like, this is a very long answer. It's not very short. It's not short and cut like people want it to be. So, you know, sometimes that's just where the community and the dev team working together comes in at.
Yep. And actually related to that, we actually just launched a forum as well. So we've always had like our Discord, our Telegram, and our Twitter. That's like our main social channels, and where we'd mainly you know, discuss things. But so we launched an actual discourse-based forum. Actually, why don't I just to show you, I'll share it on my screen.
Yeah.
So it's talk.bomb.app. And so just, you know, while we're speaking about transparency and everything, I mean, this is basically, we've created this to kind of be like a high-level discussion. You know, in socials, things can get, you know, lost if, you know, you go 2 days past when something happened, you got to dig through a whole bunch of stuff to find out what's going on. So this is like our kind of our intelligent conversation and like important discussions that, you know, you can just come here and you'll always be able to find everything relevant, like immediately, basically. So, you know, you got our governance proposals are now always going here, so they can be discussed for 24 hours prior to, the vote starting. All of our announcements and community suggestions. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting more activity on this, but it's been going great so far. We've only launched it about a week and a half ago, and I think we've got quite a few users registered, and yeah, it's going pretty great so far.
That's awesome, bro. Have you guys started your staking already with Bomb?
Like the Bitcoin staking?
Like the Bitcoin staking, right? It's already launched, right?
Everything's live.
That's awesome. What kind of, so you said you've only been in, let's say, crypto for about a year or so. What kind of inspired you personally to even come up with your own crypto?
Great question.
Yeah.
So I've been in crypto for a little over a year now, and I guess once I learned about the power of smart contracts, that's when I was just really hooked, because it kind of combined like a lot of my strong points, but combined with a lot of things that I have passion for. So like I've always been big into finances, right? So as soon as I learned about stocks and options, like I had to learn all the most degen ways to play options, and I had to make banks change their algorithms on buying pressure or buying power because of how much I like messed with like selling options that were in the money, and just doing all kinds of weird stuff there. So but yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's the crazy stuff that us nerds get into, and then we just turn into a business somehow.
Yeah, like I honestly, like TD Bank here in Canada, like actually changed their algorithm for calculating buying power when you have options.
It's crazy.
Thanks to me.
Wow. Okay.
I turned a $30,000 account into having like $5 million at Bank of America like 10 years ago. So
let me turn this into a crypto. That's a great idea.
I was a little over leveraged, you could say.
It's all good. Hey, it looks like it's paying off.
Yeah. So crypto, I also have really liked programming my whole life. I've always liked web design. It's not my strong point, but I've always kind of enjoyed it. So, you take crypto, you take finances, you take, DeFi is like kind of, just operating your own financial institution, almost like everything combined. It was meant to be
a great mixture.
Yeah. It couldn't have been any better, to be honest. It couldn't have been any better. And then I made the project, and, I read that it was key to start building a community. So I put a lot of effort into, really building out a good community, being transparent with the community, everything that we've already discussed. And, we've built an incredible community. It's growing every day, but it's like our community base that's been around for multiple months. Like they are just unbelievably strong. Like, that whatever, like, we need our community to do to like improve the situation. Like, generally it gets done, right? Like just mention it, and, we all work together to accomplish whatever needs to happen. And yeah,
that's amazing. That's amazing, man. I'm starting to find the group within the group from my community as well, and it's sometimes unbelievable to see like just the things that they say. Like, I'll be like behind on this, things that are out of my control, and I'll be stressing, and they'll just be like, "Man, don't worry about it. It's okay. Like we'll get through it." And I'm just like, you don't understand what that means to me, because I'm sitting here like sleepless trying to get things done. And, having that great community behind you definitely can push you forward. Definitely.
I could relate 100% there. The community really like supports me. They want me to, get good rest, which I don't like getting, but that's they want me to take care of myself, and they really care, and it's I love to see it too, right? So it's like a lot of things you're saying I can relate directly with, right? So it's
say as well the amount of questions and sort of ideas they have as well about the protocol and what we could possibly do, or what other protocols are doing that might work for us. We've got constant, ideas and thoughts coming towards us, which is amazing. And
so
most of these guys,
real quick.
Sure. Yeah, most of these guys have been around for months and months as well, and they've gone nowhere. We call them bombers. Why not?
Yeah, bomb.
Yeah.
So, do you guys like to? I can tell this is the one of the passive income opportunities in the space, and I see you guys are in BNB. I did see that you guys were essentially kind of inspired by Tomb Finance, which is on Phantom. So what made you guys come to Binance rather than Phantom? Because Ego, it's crazy. We actually launched on Phantom first because of I personally think Phantom's the best chain. It's just undervalued right now. It's the fastest, it's the cheapest. Why wouldn't you use it, right? But it just doesn't have the volume. It doesn't have the audience that a lot of projects need right now. So I guess what was the decision making behind going to Binance over Phantom?
So I do really like the Phantom chain as well. So I guess the two major things that we changed when we forked Tomb Finance, because we did directly fork Tomb Finance to create Bomb. Of course, we changed our peg from being pegged 1-to-1 to Phantom to being pegged 10,000 to 1 to Bitcoin. And the other big change is that we launched on BSC, like you mentioned. So knowing what I know right now, would I have made the same decision? It's a good question, right? Because that's something that I've never really mentioned on stream. It seems like the initial reason for BSC was just bigger network, bigger audience. Actually, and as well as that, like there's better integration with a lot of exchanges, like in terms of like being able to deposit or withdraw, like for example, wrap BTC, so BTCB on BSC. That's it's compatible with a lot of exchanges where you don't need to send some other currency and then exchange it to BTCB, because we're always dealing with Bitcoin, right? So, crypto.com, for example, like that's the only BTC withdrawal option besides BTC mainnet is BSC. So it's right. It gives us that, and they've been around quite a while, so it gives us that extra compatibility, I guess you could say. And there's bridges everywhere, and people are familiar with it and comfortable with it and love their pancake.
Yeah, it's like at least it's like a cheap Jesus, I hate, when I started doing Solidity, I personally, I didn't know Ethereum was behind all of it. It was just something I didn't know. And I don't think a lot of people really understand, but Ethereum kind of led the way in all that, right? Like Binance is a Ethereum fork, in a way it is. And, but it's all these other chains, they solve the issues of Ethereum and why it is a good idea, but it's just so expensive. So I think until ETH 2.0 comes out, or whatever their next step is, that these other chains are going to be utilized far more, hopefully.
Funny story. First token I ever launched on Ethereum. I think I paid $550 in fees to launch this token. And
Damn.
I was brand new to launching contracts, right? I had no idea what I was doing. So I didn't put the extra 18 decimals for the token. So basically I ended up sending myself like a fraction of a token as a total supply.
Jesus.
So that's $550 gone.
Who does the code?
Well, I mean, a lot of our stuff is forked, but I'm the one that, manipulates it and fine tunes it for us. Yeah. So I do all that. So it's all,
I saw an audit.
As we grow, like I'm sure that we'll probably need other smart contract developers on the team, but for now I'm doing all that work.
Yeah, and it's a growing field, man. It's crazy to see all the Solidity coders that are coming out right now, and why wouldn't you? The pay for Solidity coding right now is like minimum 6 figures.
Oh yeah,
it's like why shouldn't you do it?
Same with the good like React to like front end guy, right? Or just anybody that's good with JavaScript and can interact with smart contracts. Like you're looking at a 6-digit pay.
Yeah, this is the time to be in all the coding. It was like the years ago, definitely, with Web 2, the developers were needed, the innovation was needed, but now I feel like it's more than ever because it's such an expansive space that it can get even bigger. With 4% of the population, 4.5% of the population of the world population being involved in cryptocurrency. Right now is the time where we make these mistakes, especially in DeFi, so that we can build these upcoming regulations, because these regulations are going to come. We need them, and that's for our protection. It's protection for the investors. We far too often we see a lot of rug pulls. We see a lot of just abandoned projects. You leave investors high and dry. A couple of people made out with the whole bag of money, and these regulations are really to punish people that abandon these projects and that steal people's money. So I know it's going to come, but it's up to projects like us to kind of lay that foundational work on what's right, what works, what doesn't work, so that the future of DeFi can be more bright and easier, I guess, to adopt for people.
Yeah, just you talking about all this has just got me thinking just if there's some other way possibly to, to put project owners, responsible essentially, like, without going full blown like government regulations, but I don't know whether it's like a central registry that would track like who's credible, or like, I didn't really put any thought into it yet. I just thought of it right now, but it's like,
I feel like the KYCs, so one thing that I've also thought of was KYCing from the centralized exchanges. So if you want to be on a centralized exchange, I'm sure they already go through a KYC program or a process.
Yeah.
But even for the decentralized exchanges, I feel like if that was an extra step as well for them, although it would be harder, I don't know if it'd be harder. It would be harder to be bullshit, right? At the end of the day, it would be harder to manipulate what you're trying to do if you're not upfront about it. So I think heavier KYC is what we can expect to see, but it's such a gray area.
Just because DeFi, like, I mean, it's just the whole, I don't know, but like adding KYC into DeFi, I don't know, it's tough, right? Like, I think personally it'd be better just to have like the teams be, out in the open and like have to be, exposed to a certain extent to know that, who these guys are, that they're, going to be held responsible. But held responsible in what way though, right? So it's like, it's almost like if there was some protocol that came up that would, for example, like hold a certain amount of assets of a new project just as like a security that this will get released if anything that these guys said was untrue, or something like that, or if they rug, or if like any of these things happen, well, they've put up $200,000 or $500,000 or $1 million to say, hey, I'm legit and I'm putting this $1 million up to, solidify the fact that I'm legit.
Protection, yeah.
Right, like something like that would be pretty cool, right? Because some guys like to stay anonymous for whatever reason. I don't really agree. I don't really agree with it because I don't, I think that, I've addressed this in the past, but it's like nobody knows 100% for sure the outcome of a project, right? Like we're doing everything in our power to ensure success, to ensure our investors don't lose money, to, do everything we can to protect our investors' funds. But at the end of the day, like I can't 100% guarantee that nothing's going to go wrong, right? So, but I feel that, when you're, even if, people know who you are, as long as they know that you have their best intentions, like, and that's what's driving all your actions, like no one's going to be upset at you, right? Like it's like if you're that transparent,
you can hope.
You can hope.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Bomb's been through some ups and downs, right? Like, I mean, we went from being super strong, like $13,000 B shares and just everything's flying to, like being underpaid quite a bit. And, I didn't get, well, I mean, besides a few trolls that didn't like me because of my reckless spending apparently, but but besides that, like, I mean, everybody was on board and everybody just wanted the same thing, right? Just to, the project to recover, and, and we did recover, and, but yeah.
Right. Like if everybody quit every project, it's kind of like, well, you're not solving anything. You're just repeating these actions that have failed in the past, so it's these tough times that are going to kind of push these projects that are either BS or real into the direction that they need to be in. I definitely see Bitcoin is going to be the one that survives everything at the end of the day. That's just what it is. Like, I don't know if the bubble's already burst or it's bursting or it hasn't even come to close to bursting yet. It's bound to happen in some degree. But Bitcoin is going to be the one that survives, and it's going to be the one that always sets the standard. So anything involved with Bitcoin, there's a future there for sure, unless you're UST, then you're screwed.
Yeah, don't bring it up. All right,
that was
too soon
already. But at least I think they're going after him or something. I'm not sure. I try not to dig too much into it because I personally wasn't involved in it, so it didn't hurt me to the point where I have to go do the research. But it is crazy to see how much it affected people's lives, and the market in general. Like, it was just dragging the market down. Something that big could be very catalytic in a wrong way.
So, I
think it was Luna. They sold something like 80,000 Bitcoin, trying to restabilize
80,000 Bitcoin reserves. They got like 300 left.
Yeah. So that's
to me that means that, I don't know. It means that they were. I don't know how they use that Bitcoin, but I think if I had to guess, it was as soon as their UST peg dropped to like hazard levels, like if it was hanging out in the 70s or 80s, they probably weren't doing it much. But like as soon as it dropped to the 30s, it often quickly recovered, right? Because I feel like that's probably when they put their Bitcoin to use, right? When it was like getting towards that death spiral. But probably if they used it sooner, just to actually get it up the peg from those closer areas, that might have been a smarter move, right? But
I feel like like it happened, right? And a lot of people lost a lot of money. I just feel like it wasn't taken as serious as it should have been.
Oh, a lot of people
The
said
reaction,
that. Yeah.
the reaction from Do Kwon was more like, yeah, let's fix the problem. And it's like, all right, that's one of the things, yes, fixing the problem, but $1.3 billion just kind of got wiped out, you know, and that was people's money. It wasn't just a number in the system, right? Like it affected lives.
It's
So
more than that. Where'd you get that number?
It was more.
Well, because I thought it was a lot more than that.
I don't know. I think that's what it was. I think that's how much Bitcoin reserve they had. So that's the number I'm going off of. So the 80,000 was about 1.2 billion in reserves.
Okay.
So like burning through that and not even pegging again, just gone, wiped out, you know. And it was, so imagine the price is bombing, right? You use, let's say 10,000 Bitcoin, because that's a lot of Bitcoin. Let's say you use 10,000 Bitcoin to try to recover the peg. You see it's not working. And you see, I don't know, is in these algorithmic tokens or stable coins, is everything automatic? Like, do they have no control anymore? Like, was it just automatically happening outside of their control?
Well, I mean, so basically, like, I was gonna say, like, I do want to learn a lot more about UST and the interaction with Luna. I'll admit that I don't know as much about that as I probably should. And like, even though they did fail, like they were able to get as big as they got, like $20 billion almost on UST and like 50-60 million billion on Luna. I do want to do a lot more research on that, but with the little that I know, there was interaction between the UST and Luna where there's ways that you could trade one for the other depending on what the peg was. So I guess in that sense, it wasn't automatic, but it was kind of automatic, and it drives the community to do certain behaviors that are in their best interest financially. Although even that's hard to say, because trading a UST for a Luna when Luna is dropping off a cliff is not probably what's best for your bag, right? Just because you're trading it at the current exchange, but that current exchange is changing every couple seconds as it's dropping. But I forget where I was going with that.
So yes, as far as I know, it was you could always trade Luna to UST 1-to-1, I believe.
Based on the current Luna value. Yeah,
I believe that was how it was. Yeah, and obviously it all fell apart.
Yeah, I just wonder if because this wasn't the first death spiral, like it wasn't the first death spiral for a stable coin, and we started to see and we started to see a small trend right afterwards, and it was the depegging of USDT as well. I think BUSD was actually benefited; it didn't even get affected, and I also think USDC didn't drop. Did USDC lose its? I don't think USDC lost its peg either. So it kind of showed the power of like the U.S. government, right? Because their USDC is the only backed U.S. government asset, I believe.
Which one?
USDC. I guess that's the only official backed one.
Oh, so look, so
the BUSD as well.
The last 3-month chart, you can see that this is the spike when USDT would have dropped peg very temporarily.
Yep.
But no, that's stable.
Yeah. So I think USDC, whenever people put in stablecoin, I always put in USDC. So USDC is probably the safer bet. But you see what inflation could actually do to the entire economy. It causes your $1 to be worth 60 cents or 70 cents.
This is kind of weird. I mean, I don't really follow stablecoins too deeply, but I mean, they were like a very stable 1.0 prior to that depegging, and now if you look, they're just they're hanging out in the 99s, but that's not at the 1.0 that they're supposed to be at.
It's super shaky. It's super shaky, and it for people like us that have been in crypto for a little longer, we see this as more of a risk for the future, right? You look at it and you're just like, I feel like it's on thin ice. It's not as stable as it should be, or as it sounds.
Yeah, like so, I definitely feel like safer with BUSD or USDC personally.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's not something that I've researched a ton, so don't take that opinion to the bank, anybody. But but USDC, it just seems that they're a little bit shakier with their reserves, right? So it's they got all kinds of different types of reserves back in those USDTs, and some of them maybe more liquid than others, and I mean, hopefully we don't ever have to find out what happens on a serious USDT depegging, because that would be pretty devastating. So
Yeah,
hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, just steering away from that one for a while, I think.
we're going to steer away from that. So what's new for Bomb? What's coming up for Bomb? Like, what can we expect to see? I'm excited for this, man. I've never personally, my biggest flaw in this 5.5 years that I've been in crypto is I've never taken Bitcoin as serious as I should have, right? I've always looked at the DeFi space as where I'm going to make it. Not necessarily, and it used to be more of, well, I'm going to make it big with something mooning. But over the last 7-8 months, when I discovered passive income, my thought process completely changed. I completely got out of that one night victory, you know, where you just hit it big and you retire or whatever that's called. I completely got out of that. And I'm starting to look more into Bitcoin, you know. So I see that, yeah, you can already start staking. This is awesome.
Yeah, just
98% APR.
Just to further, like, just to add to what you just said there, like, you know, I've always been a degen when it comes to finances, whether that's, you know, risky option plays in the stock market, or, you know, whether that's, you know, going as margined as Binance used to let me go, right, to, you know, try to score big on some short-term moves. And, you know, once I discovered DeFi and like how lucrative DeFi could be, but all of a sudden now I don't have a time frame. It's not an option that's expiring next week. You know, it's not a margin where if it goes a certain amount in the other direction, I'm going to get margined out, right? So it's like I have the safety where like the market can drop a ton, but you can't take my assets away because there's no leverage or any expiry or anything like that. Of course, it could go to zero, but obviously I pick assets that I don't think are going to go to zero. But so I'm the exact same way. I went from, you know, doing very risky things to saying, you know, hey, this is going to just accumulate so quickly that there's no point in taking on, you know, I guess it's risky enough being in crypto or in certain projects or whatever, but, you know, I can take away all those other risks that used to get me wrecked, right? Whether it's the expiries or the margin plays or whatnot, right? So, yeah.
So that brings me up to one of the more important things, like for us devs, right? And that's education. What do we provide to our investors that they don't already know that they can benefit from? And I think passive income is probably the number one thing that we can teach, or at least educate people on and potential investors on. How do you guys go about preaching passive income? Because you guys are a passive income play. How do you go about preaching like this is what you guys should be looking more into rather than the moon culture?
You know, that's a great question, and maybe something that we need to focus on more. I mean, I guess that just because our whole protocol is based on passive income, I guess we've just assumed that that's known by everybody, but maybe that's why we've had some of the turbulence that we've had in our asset prices, because people are, you know, jumping into our speculative asset, the B share, and they're jumping in hoping for that moonshot. And, you know, but that's not what's best for the protocol, right? If they would have had a more balanced profile or portfolio, then they would have been buying some bomb, which would have helped peg. And, you know, then their smaller allocation of B shares that they bought, because that's what's in line with our recommendation, those would be doing better because of, you know, everybody's, you know, going with the, you know, something that's a little bit safer and kind of more in line with what we recommend. But yeah,
right. So you gotta figure, like, people have been doing what we were doing, right? So how did I learn? I took a complete risk. I dived into it's called Strong. You know, back when nodes were just coming out and things, like I took a risk into Strong, and it changed my life. It changed the whole perspective that I had of cryptocurrency and how you can make money. So it was something that I had to discover. But for a lot of other people that are in the DeFi space, and a lot of them are degen plays, they look at all right, I'm going to put it in, it's going to 10x, I'm going to take it out, or it's going to 5x, I'm going to take it out. They're just trying to swing trade rather than this is a play where it's going to take a while to accumulate, but it's always going to be there. So, you know, education is our number one thing at Ego, is we educate people on, you know, what do you want? Do you want to make $10,000 every month, or do you want to put in $1,000 and maybe at any point in now to the next few years, that $1,000 just overnight turns into 100,000? You know, that one's the more unpredictable lottery ticket kind of gamble. Or do you want to set yourself up with something and you learn from it, right? When the market takes a hit, you take a hit, but you're still making money. You know, people don't realize that. It's such a, I felt like it was an illegal thing when I got into it, because it was so unbelievable. It was like a miracle. And people still don't see it. They'd rather, for some reason, take their chances on a lottery ticket.
The thing is too, like if you are looking at like anything besides a very short time span, so let's just say like we're not looking at a 2-week period, we're looking at a year. Based on the 2 examples you just gave, going for that moonshot constantly, or just, you know, building up that passive income, accumulating, you know, compound interest, you know, is incredible, right? Like you just, that everything that you're earning, you just compound in and you're just making more money on all of that as well, right? So it's
exactly,
it's like after 1 to 2 years, you're very likely better off with the safe, smooth, and reliable passive income than even if that moonshot example, even if they hit 2 or 3 of those, for all the ones that they lost, where they could have been making passive income on those funds, but they lost them, right? It's, you know, I bet you that the passive income comes out ahead in that scenario, even with the moonshot example getting lucky a couple times, right?
Exactly, because the passive income provides that comfort, that peace that you're looking for as well. You know, that, you know, if my job fires me, I'm straight. that feeling, right? But we don't hear it enough. You know, people do what they see and what they hear, and it shows, right? It shows that it's not being preached as much. I think that's something that we need to take over and make sure that it's happening, for sure.
Yeah, actually, just to go back to a question you asked a little while ago about, you know, the Phantom and BSC blockchains. I don't know if I finished answering that question, but I do really like the Phantom blockchain. I've spent, you know, that's where I found Tomb. That's like, that's where I really fell in love with DeFi, I would say, even, right? Because I jumped on Phantom and I was like, wow, there's all these projects here that seem like they're either more advanced forks of stuff I've already seen, or they're new projects that I've never even seen yet. And, you know, and I told you the reasons why I initially went to BSC, but, you know, in hindsight, that is one thing that potentially I would maybe change, but just because for one, like Phantom seems a little bit more open to Tomb forks. Like out of all the Tomb forks, like there seems to have been a little bit more success on Phantom than there has been on other chains. And yeah, BSC, has such a bad reputation for like scam coins and rug pulls. And, you know, it's something that we've been battling right since we launched, right? And that's, you know, the transparency has really helped with that, but it's, you know, just people come into our chat and they just one rug pull, you know, like they just, you know, it's just almost expected.
It's like BSC. A daily thing. It's definitely see it too often. If you just go to Dex Tools and you go to like live new pairs, you'll see Binance like every like 3 seconds there's a new rug pull, you know, and they already have like a category that says it's probably a rug pull. So yeah, you definitely see it, man. And I don't know. Hopefully we can make an impact on people's lives, you know, just as community and as dev members in DeFi. You know, I see a lot of times people are feeling like they're in a competition with one another. I don't ever see that, you know, like what is that project doing that is benefiting the space? You know, that's what we should be looking to do. That's what we should be looking to work with. I don't look at the differences as a bad thing. That's probably the best part, you know, that's where you get the innovation from.
I'm trying to adapt that mentality more and more, right? Like there's no protocol is our enemy, right? It's if anything, it's just you know, we're working together. We're all trying to accomplish the same thing. And, you know, they can learn from us. We can learn from them. We can all be better. We can partner up in certain cases where it makes sense. And, you know, it's kind of like there's been some hostility between some of the different Tomb forks for some reason. But when I look on like some other chains, like, you know, for example, Kronos comes to mind. Like it seems like there's a couple different Tomb forks there, and they're all just working hand in hand, right, supporting each other. And like, you know, it's nice to see that in contrast to, you know, what I've seen of just, you know, almost, you know, if we're doing the same thing, we must be enemies, but it doesn't have to be that way, right? Like we can.
Well, what do you think about the Avalanche network?
Avalanche, I haven't spent a ton of time on it, but from everything I've seen, I mean, it seems like, you know, Wonderland got huge there before they, you know, things happen with them. So yeah, I like Avalanche. I haven't used it enough to really know, like, do they have quirks when it gets super busy or like, you know, any of those things. But I mean, from what I've done, I really like it. Why do you ask?
There's a few forks of Tomb on there, isn't there? I think.
Yeah, that was one of the popular destinations for Tomb.
Great Finance, I think, is one of the bigger ones that's doing quite well at the moment, I think.
Kitty was probably the first.
I love it. It's so cheap, man. It's just as cheap as Phantom, to be honest. You know, it's it's the home of nodes, essentially, you know, like those node protocol, NOS protocol, the ones that scams or not scams, you know, it's that network is a great host for them, because claiming fees and moving around the money isn't taking a big percentage of your profits. Ethereum with strong nodes, man, let's say in 2 weeks I was going to claim $400 or $500 worth of whatever. It was going to cost me $200 in gas fees to claim that. And it's like, what the hell? Like, why do I have to pay that to get paid? Right.
Yeah.
And I think Avalanche solved that, because Avalanche has a decent price. So these NOS and DOS protocols, they kind of do actually benefit off of the gas fee. Yeah, it's still not that high, but imagine Phantom. You know, these chains, they pay these projects, you know, in portions of gas fee. So if Phantom costs 30 cents or 36 cents and they're taking a portion of gas fee, it's like a fraction of even a cent, right? So it's not as much beneficial whenever the blockchain itself and the network is low in price. I think that's where Phantom kind of lacks. It hasn't gotten that recognition yet, and I don't know why people are looking past it, right? Like I don't understand. I feel like Phantom is the solution to Ethereum, essentially. But I'm not sure. I don't know why people don't go to Phantom. Like, I mean, it's the fast. If you were to say I have a better mousetrap, people would want to go there, or people would want that.
I don't know if it's necessarily better though. Like, I mean, I've definitely seen it where, you know, it's congested to hell, right? Like, just, you know, as we've experienced with a lot of other chains, and, you know, you could end up trying to, you know, spending multiple Phantom for a transaction if you want any chance of it going through, like when it's really clogged, right? But I mean, I think they all have their own strong points. I don't like, what is it about Phantom that makes you feel like it's just above and beyond everything else? Like,
block time, essentially block time. It's, you know, it's at a 1 second block time, which is, I think, the fastest block time. Right. Yeah. I think Phantom is the fastest chain. That essentially is what attracted me to it. Right. And the low gas fees, but that comes with its price.
But actually, just to say the opposite side of that argument, though, is that, like, I do actually kind of like that on Phantom, that when it is really congested, if you are willing to pay that higher gas, you will get your transaction processed, where BSC and some of the other ones don't quite seem to work that way. It's almost like when they're congested, it doesn't really matter what you're willing to pay, right? Like, it's just, you're at the mercy of the nodes, and I don't know. But it seems Phantom, like, as long as you are willing to jack up that gas you're willing to pay, kind of like Ethereum, right? Like Ethereum, even with Ethereum, like, I don't know if you guys heard about the whole other side when they kind of crashed Ethereum.
Oh my goodness, 20,000 for a gas fee. That was like the highest I saw. That's crazy.
Yeah, thousands of dollars for gas, and then it fails, right?
How do you refund that? Like, how do you refund? How much was it? It was like 100 million in gas fees, $100 million in gas fees in like a day, or like 45 minutes, something like that. It was absolutely astronomical.
It was poor planning. And also, I mean, again, I didn't look into it too deeply, but they said that contract that they used didn't have a single gas optimization in the whole contract. You know, and this is the company behind, like, you know, the ape NFTs, right? Like, these guys got money, right? Like, how do you deploy a contract that you know is going to have that much activity on it and not gas optimize it in the slightest, right? But then, you know, people said they had an ulterior motive, that they want to launch Ape Chain, so they kind of wanted this to go poorly. So they say, hey, well, I guess now we need Ape Chain, right?
Yeah. It's a great design. There's nothing bad to it. You know, it's a great play. It's a great marketing play for sure. If that's what they're trying to do, you know, I don't blame them for that.
Yeah.
It is a way of showing, like, well, this is garbage, so let's make our own and see what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, to kind of intentionally do that and make it look worse than it really is by not using gas optimization, that's a little bit sneaky to see.
Yeah. Definitely. And people don't know that, right? Like, if you don't code, or if you don't understand smart contracts, you don't know that there is gas optimization written within contracts. You know, how many things does it have to go through to get to where you want it to be? You know, that's essentially the gas optimization. And if you have the slowest route, it's going to take 1,000,000 years and it's going to cost, you know, $1 million. So it's all in the education. You know, it's, when we say do your own research to our community, we fail in the aspect of we don't show them how to do that research.
Or what,
you know, I feel like, Yeah, like they'll go and they'll be like, okay, well, the website looks good. And you're like, well, have you read the white paper? Like, does the way make sense? How are the grammatical errors? Is there a lot of them?
It's a great point though. Like, do your own research, but if you don't instruct them on how to do that, then maybe they're looking at all the things that, a project that's going to rug. Well, maybe they put extra effort into like these things that newer users to crypto would look into. Like you just said, like, oh, the website looks good. Okay, well, this rug pull project, they made a nice looking website because they know that's what people are going to check, right? So it's like,
exactly.
Yeah, we need to inform them on how to do this, how to do the proper research and
they trust us, more because we're in the space, so I think we need to take those faults as well on our shoulders and be like, we messed up here. Or not that we messed up, but we could do better. That's all. We can do better to help our people make money. The number one goal for us at Ego is, how do you get supporters to support your vision, right? Because there's going to be high times, there's going to be low times. First thing you need to do is teach your investor how to make money, right? If you make your investor money, they can continuously support your vision. But if you put them in a project that just drains their money, you can't expect them to continuously pump. It's not like they're printing money, right? But if they learn how the market works, they want to help you, right? You're helping them, so they want to help your project. So there's a lot of projects that are coming out that have great ideas, support great causes, charities, all these great things, but how does it make your investor money, right? Like, that's the ultimate goal of what people are trying to do in crypto, so there's a lot of bad spice in the air where it's like, you have to hold, like if you sell, you're a bad person. I think those are just really wrong ways to look at it. All these new people that are looking in, they're like, do I kind of even want to be in that space? It seems toxic.
Yeah. And just to add to that, right, like, because we're a peg token, people particularly watch like the action on the token because, if right now we're a little bit below peg. So obviously when there's a reasonable size sell, nobody likes it, right? But, it's something that we've had to kind of train our community that like sells are going to happen. There's one thing that I really like to look at, and that's, back with traditional finance, when an insider of a company, one of the executives or whatever, when they are buying stock in their company, it basically only means one thing, that they really like where things are going, right? It means that they're confident about the future of the company. When they sell, though, it could be for a million different reasons. And only like one of those is that they don't, they're not too content with where the company's going, right? Maybe they have to pay their taxes. Maybe they got kind of random expense, like you really never know why somebody's selling. Somebody could love the project, but for some unforeseen circumstance, they have to sell, right? So it's really not worth looking into why people are selling or who's selling, or, it's all we can do is make the project the best that it can be, and, and give people no reason to sell other than, perhaps, if they actually have to sell because they need the funds for whatever reason. But yeah, it's not worth looking into sales.
Exactly. It's how we've gone about accepting the fact that somebody's sold. We shine a bad light on that person, and it's like, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their situation is. And at the end of the day, it's their money. Like, what is with the toxic pocket checking on people? It doesn't show positivity for the space. And we can definitely change that, working together, holding open spaces like this, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Discord, people, they love to see union, unity and things. So I think we can definitely lead the way in that, man.
Yeah.
I love where DeFi is, whether the price is low or not. This is a great time to capitalize.
100%.
Yeah, it's the same as the stock markets, right? It's a great time to buy in, especially there as well. And, also with the main sort of blue chip stocks we got here, which we called, Bitcoin, Ethereum, the main ones, definitely the best time to buy, in my opinion.
Yep. Should be stacking that up.
A lot more down the road. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely, man. Some of the things that we're looking forward to is, bringing the utility of, like what crypto.com did with the card. They have their Crow card. Yeah. That's one of the big things that we're looking to do, man. Are you guys going to do that too? Or you guys already have it?
Looking into it.
Yeah.
We both.
Yeah, we're looking into it as well. I think that the way crypto.coms works, I guess it works, right? Like, do you have it? Have you tried it out?
I've got it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have it. My brother has it. So I'm going only off of how he's explained it. Can you just give me a quick breakdown of how does it work? Do you have to turn your money into a stable coin, or do you have to actually sell it and have fiat to use it?
Yeah. So for example, my crypto.com account is in Canadian dollars. So basically I have to either sell fiat or sell like some US stable coin, or sorry, not sell. I have to sell some kind of crypto. So when you go to sell a crypto, it's like sell it into another crypto or sell it into fiat. Or I think there's even a direct option, just sell it into fiat, but instantly put it on my credit card, basically. So just like a prepaid debit card, pretty much. Prepaid Visa debit. That's pretty much how it works.
I think that's the best way to go about it until it's fully adopted, right? Like you have to have some kind of real world application, like the credit debit part, and then the blockchain part. So it's kind of intermingling the two, which I think is a good place, right? Because you have the grounding and the principles of this that's already being used. You're slowly implementing the blockchain. I think it's going to be interesting to see how it looks when it's fully, on the blockchain. I think that's going to be the real innovation there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of these blockchains, I've actually because we've mentioned quite a few months ago about bomb chain. That's something that, our community really wants to see us do. And I spent pretty much most of last night, just going around with some of the options that I thought were going to be best for bomb chain, and I had actually quite a bit more progress than I anticipated. So expect some more news on that soon, guys.
Okay, hell yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. I always wonder how these chains are going to work. You really need a great architect, I think, to build a chain that's going to support whatever your cause is, right? So, man, good luck on that, brother. That's a feat in itself.
Yeah. You know what though? Like one of the toughest things is like getting those early users, right? And we have a great community, and they all want to explore, they all want to get on the bomb chain, and I get asked all the time about it. So so I was exploring the two different frameworks that would be good to launch bomb chain, and got, reacquainted myself with them, because I have launched all these chains in the past before I started bomb. So I am quite familiar with how to launch these chains. Expect more news about that in the
absolutely, man. That's awesome to hear, bro. Absolutely. I had a question about bomb. You guys have a treasury, right?
We have there's some confusion there, right? So we have a Treasury smart contract, which handles a lot of the core logic of the protocol. And then we have like a protocol wallet, which is like a lot of people refer to that as the Treasury, which is kind of like the protocol wallet for the protocol wallet's assets. But yeah, so we do have. So the answer is yes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we're looking to build the Ego Treasury as well. Just kind of I personally haven't built a treasury before, so it's kind of like, where do I even start? What would you suggest fundamentals of building the treasury? I mean, we already have multi-sig wallets. That's where we keep our funds, our rewards and things.
Like a Gnosis safe or something?
Yeah. We use the Gnosis.
Yeah. So actually, I wish I had found those earlier, because so we've just started, I guess, kind of migrating to using a Gnosis safe. And we're going to start having like all the treasury's assets that it gets from the protocol go straight to that Gnosis safe, which is going to be multi-sig. Like right now, just me and Dan that have access. But since we just set it up, I don't think right now, just either one of us could execute transactions on it. But once we get a few more of the team on as signatories, then we'll make it required too. But yeah, no, I think Gnosis safe is a great choice for that. In terms of managing the assets, and you can link up different apps with it. So for example, like I noticed this one, Llama Pay, that was really cool. Like you can basically vest people's pay. So just say like we have staff that say get, X amount of USD equivalent per month. Well, we can just load that in there, put their wallet address in there, and they can just go claim it whenever they want. And that would just claim whatever they've earned up to that, that second.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So we haven't set that up quite yet, but I did play around with it, and I was really impressed. And that integrates right with Gnosis Safe. So you can kind of have like your treasury there that, is multi-sig to control and everything like that. But then you could have Llama Pay in there that can pay all your staff and everything in a decentralized way.
That's awesome.
I think
that's pretty awesome, man.
I think some staff new staff might be more comfortable coming on board knowing that, hey, we're handling your pay, through a smart contract, there's no chance of not getting paid because it's already set up in advance there, right? So
that's perfect. It's perfect utilization and trying to add things on what can you do with the blockchain. That's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Well, Aaron, that one there, they recently included a debt option where you don't need to be preloaded and use your portfolio as collateral.
What? Really?
That's pretty awesome.
Since when? That's crazy. Okay,
I'll
I'll
have
have
to
to take
check
a look
that
at
out.
that. All right.
Marcus.
Going shopping after this. I'm just kidding.
Uh-oh.
I also wanted to bring one quick thing up. I don't know if we didn't even mention this for Ego specifically. And let me know what you guys think. You know, we run only on New York Stock Exchange hours. So we're a passive income token. So we provide passive income 24/7, but for price action of our chart, we only trade, like our token is only tradable between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern time. So, one of the things that we promote is, that mental, that clarity, that stability, that I don't have to consistently look at charts, even in the middle of the night or even on the weekend. I think that's one thing that we should see a little more of. I hope to see a little more of. Somewhere where you can leave your money and not have to worry about it over the weekend. And how we do that, though, is because whenever people invest into us, we utilize their money and invest into other passive incomes. So we're bringing in passive income whether we have buy volume or not, and that supports us paying the people that are staking their ego.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I love the whole idea as well. With
so when you say your token can only be bought during between 9:30 and 4, so do you guys only sell your own token through your own DApp? Like it's not on any decentralized?
No, it's on the DEX. It's on PancakeSwap, but it's built in our contract to only be tradable during those hours.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you just can't trade.
Yeah. So you can't trade it. You can't sell it. Like you don't have to worry about your ego dumping in the middle of the night. You waking up and being like, "What the hell happened?"
Because actually, not tradable.
Yeah, exactly. So it's it's one of the things that we wanted to build on. We wanted to build on that comfort that people can provide for themselves. There's people that you're looking to bring from stocks, right? What are they used to? They're used to a time period where they know they have to worry, and then a time period where they know worrying doesn't do anything because they can't do anything about it. So why not try to bring that into crypto? I know it's not going to be a full adoption, and it's not going to be something because crypto degen, people like that adrenaline, that 24/7 craziness sometimes. But exactly, right? It's addicting, but at the same time, one or two of your investments that you don't ever have to worry about, I think is not a bad thing.
Yeah, but I think you can you can have an investment where it's safe enough or they have enough faith in the team that they can sleep well at night, even if it's traded 24 hours a day. Right. So honestly, throughout this whole conversation, I've agreed with just about everything that you said, but that time limit thing, I'm not quite on board with that one. But besides that,
I'll bring you on board eventually, man. It's not something that's an easy winner, but it is innovation. We're trying to make this part work as well.
I know it's an interesting take and something unique for sure. But I'm a night guy though, so.
Hey man, I am too. I'm a night owl. I go to bed at 5 or 4, and I try to get up by 9 to make sure that the market's running.
It's impressive.
Good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, bro. I mean, that's all them years of gaming and not sleeping. Used to be a big gamer, so.
Can relate. Yep.
Yep.
They were all the same, boys. To be honest.
Is there any questions in chat that we've gotten? Haven't been paying too much attention there.
I think there's been a few. Pop that one there up. Are you concerned with the current attacks on stablecoins? How do you defend bomb?
All right, so not sure concerned is the word I would use. It was definitely a cloud overall. Pretty much any project that had the word algo coin in their name took a hit when that stuff started happening with UST and Luna. So obviously wasn't happy about that. Obviously it's a sad situation overall, and I'm really sorry to everyone that's lost funds in that whole situation. But So, I mean, in terms of how do we defend bomb, I think just, having a strong community that doesn't, just panic sell when they hear some bad news about, algo coins, which, a lot of bigger protocols than us with algo coins, their peg dropped significantly lower than ours did. So I think that we had already put bomb in a good defensive position just by having that really strong community that has faith in us as developers and as a team. So we didn't really have to change much in order to defend bomb. We just, we already kind of set ourselves up to, have people have faith in us and what we're doing and have that bad news not affect us as badly as it had affected other protocols. So
to add to that as well, I think after the whole UST fiasco, I think somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think every single Tomb fork went well under peg. And I quickly just looked there at Tomb and they're still below 0.5. I know they got the whole FTM sort of thing on the side as well, but just shows how strong our community is. There's a few people leaving straight away. Apart from that, we've not seen many big sales at all, and mostly buys, to be fair. It's been really, really good. I think question-wise...
What's the website to your protocol there?
Our website is growyourego.finance. We just got our Web3 integrated website. I already want to apologize for it. It's been one of the worst experiences having to deal with somebody you don't really know. We're trying to just literally get the back end information so that we can adjust all the grammatical errors that they launched it with. But yeah, growyourego.finance. We have our roadmap on there. We have our tokenomics, which are written wrong. It's so bad, man. He just relaunched it 2 days ago, and just trying to get a hold of him is a pain in itself. But you can see our updated white paper on there, thankfully. Yeah, and our DApp will also be on there whenever we're ready to launch it. Our staking currently is being done by Brew Labs, and it's going to be on their platform until we can get everything in-house, which we're planning to do in the next month or so. Definitely.
Cool. Well, I mean, if you guys want to get some of your investors into bomb, you know who to come to.
Man, listen, absolutely. Our community, they're always looking for more passive income opportunities. One thing that we let them know is you're not going to get rich off of one investment. Don't think of it like that. If you can utilize Ego, if you can utilize bomb, if you can add 5 or 6 more passive income, diverse investments to your portfolio, if one of those crashes or if something happens to one of them, you still have all of these, right? I think it's the way that we educate our investors that keeps them hungry. And, that's why I love hopping on these AMAs because, my community, they're always looking for that next one. They're always looking for that next, and we, in terms of your website, where it says, 0.5% a day, we offer the same. We offer it in 7-day increments of just 2.5%. And we offer ours personally in stablecoin, in straight stablecoin. So, but I think people will be definitely taking a look at this. And another reason is because a lot of the things that we invest in as a community, a lot of them are on Avalanche, Phantom. We kind of stay away from Ethereum just because of the high gas fees. But Binance isn't one of the. I feel like Binance doesn't have as much passive income opportunities that have been stable, in my opinion. Or I haven't been educated as much on the Binance network. So I think this is going to be one of the ones that we definitely take a look at. I definitely love how you guys are going about it, especially with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's quite a few passive income opportunities on BSC. You have to be kind of careful because that is home of the rug pull. So be a little careful.
Name a few. I got my pen ready.
Off stream, we'll talk about that.
Perfect. Definitely, man. But anytime we see an opportunity, we're definitely going to hop on it. So I really appreciate you guys having us on here though today.
Yeah, no,
it's definitely been a pleasure talking to you guys. It's
Yeah, no
lovely
problem.
to see that there's like-minded individuals in the space, man. Really great to see.
Really appreciate you coming on too, and like I said, that, I agreed with, pretty much everything that you said until the 9:30 to 4 thing. We can talk about that later, but other than that, I feel like we both think the same way,
Somebody's
right?
got to do something different, Yeah, brother, absolutely.
Yeah,
we'll do
that's
4:30 to 9
that's what the
instead.
users want. Then hey, deliver it for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, cool, man.
Definitely. Do we want to do a quick run through of our new UI, Aaron, and all the progress on it?
Yeah,
just to show you and show some of your investors and things what they could be investing in very soon. It's almost
so I'll go over this real quick, and I'll also say like what aspects of it are not quite functioning yet. So single asset staking is functional. As you guys can see with BUSM, it is not pulling the token price of this correctly right now. So I've pushed an update for that, but it takes the graph like 3 days to sync all the blocks since we initially launched the contracts on this. So that's still catching up. So that should be resolved soon. So this does work. You can stake, but yeah, the values aren't going to show up. So here we've had some nice changes. So this is our if anybody missed this, so this is where you single stake an asset, right? So if you have BOM, you can just stake your BOM here. Simple as that. Same with BTCB, BUSM, which is our own US coin, stable coin, and BUSD. For the farm, this is where you would stake a pair, so a BOM BTCB pair on PancakeSwap. And we're gonna actually have a zap in functionality that's coming next, just to be able to create those LP pairs from a single token in one transaction. And then here we have BUSM, BUSD, and you can see here the APY on the farms, how much money is locked. Although this is again not accurate, just because it can't pull prices from BUSM right now. And here actually you can see an example because I've actually leveraged already. So I've used all the capabilities of this new UI. So you can see here that I have 55 LPs staked, but 39 of those I borrowed in order to get them. So my LP equity is actually 16. So right now I'm getting the upside of 55 LPs, but I only really have 16. So I can kind of see that in more detail here. So right now my APY on this, even though the farm APY is 72%, my APY is 181 because I've borrowed in order to increase the size of my position. So yeah, this is all working. So this is new. We have a slider now.
I was about to say, have you seen the leverage slider yet? There you go.
I just woke up right before the AMA, so I didn't get a chance to check it out.
Oh, me too. That's great to know.
So
this is great, bro. I love the UI, man. It's very clean.
Yeah, it's gonna keep getting improved too. It's not even fully polished yet. So I just upped my leverage from, I believe, 3.48 to 3.6. So we should see my debt go up here once that goes through, and we should see my total go up. Yep. So my debt just went up about 1 LP, and yeah, I think my APY just went up a couple %. So yeah, this is all functional. And look out for improvements. We're going to be improving this numerous times every day until it's fully polished and good to go. We got the fiat on ramp coming. We got what else we got coming? We got support for a bunch of different wallets that are easier to use for brand new crypto users, like Fortmatic and Taurus, and the Zappin functionality. So those are like the next 3 things that you guys should expect to see here.
Nice. And are you guys on any centralized exchanges, or are we still all in DeFi so far?
That's a good question, because one of our guys that, our head of marketing, he's really experienced in the space, and he's actually gotten a lot of listings. He said that we should probably start with he said we should start with a smaller exchange, and he basically knows everything that we need to get listed at an exchange, and he knows the process to go through the smaller ones, and then you can go for a bigger one, and something that we will pursue. We're not actively pursuing it like too aggressively, but it's something that we will definitely get done at some point.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I feel like if the investor wants to invest, they'll find a way. Especially in DeFi, they're going to find a way. So
100%.
Awesome, man. That's good to hear, bro.
All right, guys. Well, unless we have any other questions or you guys want to talk about anything else, we could probably call it.
We're good. Yeah, man. It was a blessing, man. I really appreciate you guys so much.
No, really appreciate you coming, and it's a great conversation.
Absolutely. And you guys have a Telegram?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
What is it? t.me/bombmoneybsc, I believe.
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look on your Twitter, and I'll post things out for my community as well.
Yeah, our homepage
Awesome,
has links to Discord and Telegram as well. So if you just go
Perfect.
app.bomb.money.
Sounds good. Awesome.
All right, guys. And
You
everyone
guys have a
watching,
blessed day.
everyone watching, watch out for bomb chain info because it's progressing faster than anticipated. So keep your eyes out for that.
Awesome. Thanks, brother.
Also as well, there's a tweet coming out soon about a brand new B-Bond sort of giveaway and also like a lucky draw sort of thing. So keep your eye out for that because anybody could win that and the prize would be big. So
Nice.
That's gonna be good.
Yes, sir. You know it. I love winning things. I ain't gonna say no to that.
Amazing, man.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks again, and everyone have a great day.
See you guys.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Like and subscribe.
Of course.